Hello, my name is A.B. Bracewell from Ready for Relationships. I just want to thank you for pressing play and taking some time out of your day to listen to what I have to say. You can follow me on Instagram at Ready for Relationships. That's Ready, the number 4 relationships. Or you can search me on Facebook at A.B. Bracewell, or you can join my discussion group. Let's connect, let's discuss, let's talk. Today, I want to speak to you directly from my book, which is entitled From Relational Hurt to Spiritual Healing. The book can be found on Amazon, or you can go to my website, readyforrelationship.com, and order it from there. Or I can send you a signed copy of the book once we connect and become friends over social media, or if you email me. So the devotion that I wanted to speak about, or speak from today, it's called What's Your Type? What's Your Type? And it's pulled from the scripture found in 1 Samuel 16, verses 6 to 7. And it reads, So it was when they came that he looked at Eliab and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, Do not look at his appearance or physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So just to give you a quick history, a quick background on what I just read. See, we have Samuel, and he's on his way to find the second king of Israel, because the first king of Israel, which was Saul, had been rejected by God due to Saul's own disobedience. Now, if we go back a few chapters, we'll see that Saul is described a certain way. When Samuel found him, Saul was described as being very handsome, a very good-looking man, very tall. It said that he stood above the crowd when he was among the Israelites, or when he was in Israel. And if we fast forward to the scripture that I just read, we'll also see that Eliab is described in the very same way. He is described as being very handsome, very good looking. So when Samuel presented at Jesse's house to find the next king, and when Samuel placed his eyes on Eliab, he had found his type. He had seen who he wants to be king. And just like us singles, we often have a certain type that we go for, a type that we become fixated on. And no matter what God tells us, no matter what red flags, what signs are in the way, we continue to go for that type. But as you see in the scripture, God said he has rejected Eliab, just like he had rejected Saul, because God does not look at the outdoor appearance like we do, the outside appearance, but he looks at the heart. Now, as I think of us as singles, or us as people, and we're going through this journey of looking for that right one, where we're dating and we're going out, exploring relationships, we often fall into that same trap of getting fixated and following a certain type. Now, I don't know what your type might be. You might like tall, dark, and handsome. You might like short, thick, slim, with long hair. Or your type might even not be physical. You might like a roughneck. You might like guys that are a little rough around the edges. Who knows what your type is? But whatever that type might be, we often get fixated and follow that type, even when God does not give us the stamp of approval, when God rejects that type out of our life. Because we so much want to satisfy this taste or desire or our impulses, we tend to keep going after that type, even when all the signs show, all the history says that that type is not good for us. There is a very good lesson, a very good principle that can be pulled from that scripture, and that's the lesson of discernment. The lesson of discernment, and how to develop or how to cultivate a good and healthy selection process when it comes to finding a mate. What to look at? What are those things to look at? Those things to really explore and examine in a person? Or should we look at how they look? Should we look at their complexion or their eye color or their weight or their height or their body type? Or do we look at those things that really matter? Those things that's really going to take our relationship through the storms and the test of times. Those things like, are they gentle? Are they generous? Are they kind? Are they loving? What's their emotional stability like? What's their intellect? Are they, those things that really make a person, their character, do they have integrity? Those are the things that God looks at. Those are things he was looking for when he was looking for the next king. Even in Samuel was looking at the outside appearance. See, what's often good for us or is not those things that's often good are not often good for us. We all have preferences, and we hear that so often now. Everyone has preferences. I like them this way or I like them that way. There's nothing wrong with having preferences. And you know what? I have preferences too. I would prefer to eat warm apple pie and ice cream every day over broccoli and Brussels sprouts. But if I choose to go with my preference, when I know that my preference is not good for me, if I know that my preference will not yield the type of results that I'm looking for, then I have to put aside my preferences at times, and I have to go for the things that's actually good for me. And the same thing goes with relationships and dating and finding that right mate. See, and how do we know when God is rejecting someone from us? Because usually when he's rejecting someone or a certain type, that certain type has put us through a cycle of pain and heartache and disappointment. That type has cheated and lied to us, has been unfaithful over and over again. But we never really learned the lesson. What do we often do? We often keep going after that type, or we start to turn against all men, or we turn against all women, or we turn against relationship as a whole. When the poison is not men, the poison is not all women, and the poison is not relationships. The poison is the type that we keep going after time and time again. So what's your type? What do you prioritize? Now, I'm not saying that physical attraction is not important when it comes to a mate, but we have to know where to put that when it comes to our level of importance. Is it more important than kindness? Is it more important than gentleness? Is it more important to emotional stability? And that's the lesson of it all. We need to know what's important and what to search for and look at when it comes to a mate. Now, I'm not saying to totally pull physical attraction out of there, but we just need to know where to place it. So if you have any questions, if you have any input, if you have any comments, please leave it below. Send me an email, instant message me. Let's talk about it. Let's connect. Once again, my website is readyforrelationships.com. That's the number 4. Or you can find me on IG at Ready for Relationships. And you can find more devotions like the one I just spoke about in this book, From Relational Hurt to Spiritual Healing. The book has been getting some great reviews. It's been changing lives, and it's been making a difference. So you can order it from the website, or you can go to Amazon, or let's connect. Let's become friends. Thank you.